Dude, like, what a great win. Like, that just felt so good. I understand it was the Sharks, but just, like, completely running over a team like that in the first and second period, regardless of opponent, after such
He
a
fell
bad
asleep in the
losing
second
streak,
period,
was
and I
such
haven't
a
had the heart to tell
feel-good
him yet.
moment. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 47, where the Rangers lose 3-2 to the San Jose Sharks in overtime after blowing a 2-goal lead in the third period. And this is it. This is the tipping point. We've finally gotten to the point on the knife's edge where I just completely fall overboard. Because, oh my god, you blew a multi-goal lead to the Sharks in the third period. That's incredible. Like, these Sharks, the ones that lost like 11 games in a row to start the season, had one good month and then fell back into the cellar. Like, they have 30 points to this point of the season. You have double their point output. And you blew a multi-goal lead to them. And, like, you had rest. You got to rest up from the back-to-back. I'm pretty sure the Sharks played yesterday. I think they had a back-to-back. They did against the Kings. And you blew it. You blew it. Oh. Incredible. Just stupendous. So the Rangers get on the board first. Adam Fox rooting around the blue paint, right? You know, fishing for it, gets one good. Nice gritty goal. That's cool. Panarin had a beauty. Just starts moving around. This is a weird thing that I'm going to say. Panarin might be the best at knowing when to shoot this season. I'll give you that positive. Because he can just survey. Like, when he starts moving around and they give him any bit of space, he's going to score a goal or at the very least put on an incredible shot on net that can get tipped or put in off a rebound. Because he reads the defense and how they're playing him perfectly. Beautiful shot. It's 2-0 Rangers, and you're feeling pretty darn good about yourself. But then, that's when the bottom starts to fall out. Because Nico Sturm gets a gift from behind the blue paint. It was a turnover by Eric Gustafsson, who I've been very nice about, but that was just awful. Bad turnover. Shesterkin wasn't even back in the net by the time the shot was fired. It's 2-1. That's not ideal. You know, just don't let the wheels fall off is all that I'm thinking. That's what I'm begging you. And then the wheels begin to fall off because Ryan Carpenter tips one in front a couple minutes after that, and it's tied to a piece. You head to overtime because you can't put up another one in the third period. And it's this play. It's a pick play. There should have been a penalty on it. There should have been. Mika Zibanejad is following his player, and then he gets picked. He loses his stick. He has to go collect it. It looked like they might have even kicked the stick out into the neutral zone. There's a mix-up. Ends up being a 3-on-1 in front of the net. And Tomas Hertl slaps it home. Sharks win 3-2. Bad call on the Mika thing. There is no reason in the world that overtime should have been played. There is no reason. You had a 2-0 lead against the Sharks. And it kills me because in the first period, they looked great. The offense was buzzing. They looked fantastic. Second period, same thing. Offense is buzzing. They look fantastic. I saw people saying in the first two periods, oh man, it's all Sharks. What game did you watch? The Rangers ran them over to the point where I'm like, here we go. This was going to be one of the more positive videos of the season where I was going to say, oh, well, you know, it's the Sharks, but that's just such a great performance. You got to look past who the opponent is. It was fantastic for 40 minutes. Doesn't matter when you choke it that hard in the last 20. Well, 20 and some change because of overtime. It was horrific. It was awful. And now they've done something special because I have had doubts on them coming back this season or holding leads. I can't even, like, when it's short, we can't even trust them to hold a multi-goal lead against the worst team in the sport. They had 28 points entering the game last night. 13, 31, and 4. And you blow a multi-goal lead to him. Like, Logan Couture missed the first 40 games, and then at some point in the season had to wake up and be like, oh my god, I'm still a Shark. And you lost to them. I just... What do you even say? What? The transition from 2023 to 2024 has hit the Rangers like a brick with barbed wire on it. It's been awful. To the point now, I understand that they still lead the Metro, and because the Flyers have had a bad couple of games, you have a pretty okay lead for the Metro. You're up by 5 points, and you have a game on hand against them. I don't know that you can buy. I'm going to say it. I don't know that you can buy. What have they shown you this month? They're 4-6-2, which is a polite way of saying they're 4-8. They're 4-8 in the month. And they've been bad games. Like, that's not a polite 4-8. That's a 4-8. I'll pull it up for you. If it'll, like, you had the 6-1 loss to Carolina. You beat Chicago. Congratulations. Here's a medal. The 31st ranked team in the league. You lost in the shootout to Montreal. You got your doors blown off by Vancouver 6-3. You got crushed by St. Louis 5-2. You got goalied by Charlie Lindgren in Washington on the first night of a back-to-back. You snuck one the second night with a 2-1 victory against Washington. You beat the Kraken, who are pretty solid. I'll give you that. You got crushed by Vegas. You got beat by LA. And then you beat Anaheim. 2 of those 4 wins come against teams who have less than 35 points. I'm not saying sell. That is not where I'm at. Because I don't think that is the reason. You don't go that far. But how can you, at this moment in time, look at them and think, yes, they deserve to be bought for? It's just the turn that the season took after the calendar change is insane. And the next game doesn't get easier. Because now you get a couple days off. You get an extra day off. That's cool. You get today and tomorrow off. Friday, they're back in Madison Square Garden taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, who just caved you in. And you can look around at different teams that you might say, well, Wes, the Kings were really off to a great start, and then they kind of slowed down. And then the Golden Knights were off to a great start, and they've slowed down. Golden Knights, over the last 10, are 6-3-1. They're figuring it out. They're getting back on that right trajectory. 3-5-2 for the Rangers. It's been a bad month. And that Vegas game, it's not a must-win for the points. It's a must-win for the respect. That's the difference. They have looked so ghastly against good opponents. They've looked bad against bad opponents. But you had so many wins to start the year off against good teams, like genuinely good teams. Like the time you caved in Boston and then you beat them in a grit match. Right? You beat Tampa. You caved them in the time you played Tampa. If I'm not mistaken, you did beat the Golden Knights at one point this season. I'm pretty sure they've beaten Vancouver. I believe they beat the Jets. Like, you have wins against real opponents, against good opponents, against upper echelon opponents. But where are they now? They're in the past. They're in the rearview mirror. They're in a different year. You've got to go up against Vegas on Friday night in your barn and beat the ever-loving crap out of them. It has got to be a good win. It can't be this win where you get totally bailed out. You've got to put your full foot forward and actually beat them because you outplayed them. Not because you got lucky, not because Igor Shesterkin bodies them into the dirt, not because they beat themselves with power plays. You've got to beat them squarely, just straight out. 7 o'clock Friday night. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that is all I have to say. I will say I'm sorry for the past couple videos that have been the next day, but the late nights have just... The late nights, while I still am kind of under the weather, have been killers. And I just haven't had any ability to do it after the game's end. But Friday we'll be back to normal. and I'll be here afterwards to talk about that game. So, if you enjoyed this video at all, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.